We're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's a snack pack, everyone. Hope you have a lot of snacks because there's a lot of stuff going on there today.
Get some drink, guys. You're gonna need it.
There you go. Sunday was slow.
Yeah.
Monday was very, very busy, and we're going to go ahead and talk about a lot what went on Monday, what is going on possibly Tuesday, a free agency primer. What could happen? Who's going to get called? Who isn't going to get called? What happened? Who got traded? Who might get traded? What might happen? A lot of stuff might happen.
We should be fired by now.
Yeah, we should be fired by now. Indeed, it is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining me right here at the Lakers Fast Break. What's up, Craig? What's up, JSJ? What's up, Stefan? What's up, everybody out there? Cannot thank you enough for doing so. Oh, Nick T. Oh, don't worry, I got an intro.
JSJ, no. I had to drink wine earlier.
Indeed. I also host the Pop Culture Cosmos. I will be dropping the latest episode tomorrow morning. That's going to cover the demise of Supergirl at the box office. Also, as well, we'll be talking about, you want a steam machine? Do you really want a steam machine? Go to eBay and see if you can get yourself a steam machine. All that plus what's going on streaming and more right there at the Pop Culture Cosmos. I also been hosting the Lakers Latest on of course, the Fan Arc Network. So go ahead and check out the Lakers Latest shows I do there. Man, I know it's going to be a spicy one because guess what? Guess who's going to be the cover individual for tomorrow's show? Yes, that's right, LeBron James, and that always gets the comments out. So yes, go ahead and make sure you catch me tomorrow morning on Lakers.
Yeah, there's one thing you should talk about on your other show too. Xbox, what's going to happen? All your layoffs are about to happen.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I mentioned that they are unionizing as we speak. We've actually covered it. I got that on. I taped in advance of the July 4th holiday, an episode with TJ Johnson covering that. But I also came up organically at the beginning of the show for tomorrow on that. I accidentally called Double Fine Telltale for like 5 minutes, and I was like, because I get those two mixed up for years all the time, even though I do know consciously which games that they make. So forgive me, everyone, in advance for that. But I do get it right after about 5 minutes. So please go ahead and listen to it. But yes, there is some serious stuff going on with Xbox as well, and I cover that tomorrow. And we've got a longer conversation on that on Friday as well.
$1,000 console's coming, guys. Let's get ready.
Oh, God. And it's not even a handheld one. The only one I could justify is the handheld one, or the Xbox 25. As far as it's concerned, that green one.
What that gonna cost? I am curious on that one.
I'm thinking that one's going to cost $900. I think that one's going to go for $900. Is my guess on that one. That one I might pay for. I might have to dish out for that. We'll wait and see. But it is, of course, again, the Lakers Fast Break. Please follow our stuff. Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Please go ahead, like and subscribe to what he's doing. Chris, what's going on? Great to have you here. We're going to go ahead and set you up what's going on a very busy Monday in advance of NBA free agency, plus talk about all the rumors, what's going on with LeBron. He's off the golf course, or is he off the golf course? Because he's seemingly golfing as much as Austin Reeves is right now. Oh, and speaking of Austin Reeves, Nick T started. Oh, we're already cooked already, JSJ. Yes, we're cooking.
Oh,
yes, we're definitely cooking. We're cooking. And are we cooked? We could be cooked. Rob Pelinka's running the team, so we're, I'm sorry to Joe, and he'll be coming on here in a little bit. But yeah, we're cooked. We got Rob Pelinka running this team. So I did want to go ahead and say to Nick T, he was talking about Reeves $40 million per year SMH. Nick boy. T, I'm really disappointed in you, man. I really am. And I'm going to tell you why. Because he didn't sign for $40 million. He signed for more. More. Get the numbers right. He's 41 next year, and then it goes all the way up to 51. By the end of the contract, if he picks up the last year on his player option that Rob was so generous to give him. So please, Nick, in the future, get it right, my friend.
Hey, his name Rob for a reason. He get robbed. That's why his name Rob.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you, Nick. But yeah, it's. I told you guys, and guys didn't want to believe me that was a possibility. But hey. If you were his reps, you're going in there full max, and all it took was one team being interested in him in Detroit. And there you go. So that's all it took. So
He got finesse, boy. That's hard to believe.
Nick T with the response indeed. No worries. All good, my friend. Uh, JSJ, Stefan, great to have you here again. We're going to be talking about what's going on with all the stuff at free agency, all the stuff that's going on with the trade today, as far as Ja Morant going to Portland, talking about the deals that Golden State are making. And I don't understand their process in trying to get the 2019 All-Star team back together and then somehow messing it up by signing Kristaps Porzingis, like throwing a wrench in there is said. I don't get their planning, so I'll talk to you about legend about that. What's going to happen with LeBron? We got the great news today, Lakers fans, that DeAndre Ayton has opted in on his contract. Yay, boy,
Well,
yay.
we should not brought up Porzingis on my screen on TV now.
Hey, 2 years, $40 million for a guy you don't even know is going to be well the entire season. Yeah, Dunleavy and Pelinka doing great, doing some great things. And
Bob Myers, come back, please.
What is the dumbest move of the day? Is the dumbest move of the day, the Portland deal for Ja Morant? Is it the Kevin Huerter 3 years for $27 million deal with Detroit?
How much?
3 for 27. That's $9 million a year. This guy should be playing for the minimum. Have you seen his numbers the past couple seasons? You can shoot threes better than this 3-point specialist, yet somehow he gets a 3-year deal. And that or the Porzingis deal. What is going on? I don't understand it. I don't get it. We'll go ahead and try and just work it all out on today's show as well. But yes, all the rumors, but we'll start there with the rumors. We'll start with the LeBron, Golden State, AD, all this stuff that's going on, and possibly the dumbest move of all by Draymond Green opting out of his $27 million deal, unless he better have something lined up with Dunleavy, and that's for sure.
You must know something.
But yeah, legend. He did opt out of his $27 million final year of his deal to go ahead and try to see if they can loop in LeBron, who is reportedly on the golf course, has not spoken to the Lakers reportedly. Has been too busy golfing, too busy overseas for the 2016 Cavs, too busy doing other things. Fine, whatever. Okay, he's doing his usual LeBron stuff. It's back to the noise. Once again, back to the noise. Got it. You can't have a good thing. We just can't have good things. Got to go back to the noise. So with that said, reportedly, if he is to go to Golden State, he wants a package deal with Anthony Davis. And if that's the case, what does Golden State do halfway through the day? They signed Kristaps Porzingis to a 2-year, $40 million deal. So the question I ask, I got a couple questions here. A, why are you trying to reform so bad in Golden State, the 2019 All-Star team, in a league where it's now 7 years later, and it really probably won't last health-wise, much less talent-wise at this point? And then B, why are you resigning Kristaps Porzingis for so much money for so many years for a guy you don't even know will actually play real games this season?
You know what, Gerald? I'm finna use this good laptop, my gaming laptop I'm on right now. I'm on my gaming laptop. I'm finna put in the application for Golden State Warriors GM because hey, any dumbass can run it at this point. Cause look what he's on. We gonna sign Porzingis. We don't even know the man gonna play for whatever he got going on. I don't even know.
If the Lakers took a flyer on him for $5 or $7 million for a year or something, okay, that's fine. But 2 years, $40 million for a guy again who in the past couple of years or since he left Washington and went to Boston has had one mysterious illness after another. I don't get it.
I don't get it myself. You bring in a dude back who's got some mysterious illness that can probably keep him out most games. Then you overpaid him too much money. Then you try to bring a 2019 All-Star team to Golden State. You taking Golden State Warriors to a whole new world. Make the O big now. Golden State, because that's what you got. A bunch of old dudes in your starting lineup. One dude who probably barely gonna play the court. As soon as I just tap his wrist, he hurt. He be hurt for the next 2 or 3 months. You got LeBron, who's gonna have a lot of his issues going on too. He'll be in and out of the lineup. Steph, getting banged up too. Draymond ain't the same as he used to be. Like this ain't gonna work, man. Like you basically trying to use this ain't NBA 2K27 where you can do this. You probably win a bunch of games, probably win a championship, probably in 2K. But in the real world, this ain't gonna work. You have to get younger. You have to get younger, get more athletic, get more 2D guys. This ain't gonna work. The team too old. Most of these dudes are out of their prime at this point. If they're just wanting to play to have fun, just say it. Just say, you know what? We just trying to have fun. We just trying to sell tickets. We ain't trying to win games. We just trying to sell tickets. Get on more main TV nights on main when they play. You want more main games on TV? Just say that. You sign Al Horford back. You know what? Just fuck this team. I'm done, man. You make the play in.
When Legends dropping the F-bombs, that'll tell you how bad it's getting. Yeah, I forgot to even mention, you're right. They earlier this weekend, they gave Horford, I believe, a 2-year deal as well. Was this just to spike up the average age even more? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I guess our GM is playing NBA 2K. He's trying to bring it to real life because that's pretty much what he's doing at this point. So you know what? If they do this, I ain't got nothing to do with the team this year. Just lose. Let's get to the lottery because that's what's going to happen. You're going to go to the lottery or make the play in, go home. Either way, you ain't winning. LeBron James, you want to waste your last year with you? Maybe this your last season. I don't know. You want to waste it with you and Bronny? Come on over here. We got a clown show. We got your clown outfit. We got the makeup. We got it all for you. Come on. We'll get you dressed up. Oink, oink, rap. Whatever you want to do. It's going to be a circus over here. Fuck this shit. I'm done, man. I'm done with this thing, man.
That's more, Joe, that's more language than he's ever dropped on this channel.
I'm going to be Legend. Let Legend do his thing, and then I'm going to be like this, calm and collected one.
Well, once again, it is the Lakers fast.
Can't have both. You got to have a contrast.
That is true. Well, that's why I'm here to try and do that. I try usually not to throw any S or F bombs. Indeed, it is, of course, Legend from I Got Next Sports Media and me, Gerald Glassford. It is a snack pack. We're trying to set you up for free agency. This crazy day that's happened with a lot of activity, flurry of activity going on, signings, people being opted out, people opting in, players going all over the place. And this is ahead of free agency. We're going ahead and discussing it. And here today to talk about, first off, 2 individuals that the Lakers might be giving a phone call to first. It is a good man indeed. It is behind the Joe Sorrell experiment, the guy who runs it all. It is, of course, Joe Sorrell. Joe, good to have you here. The Lakers, with all the LeBron drama that has perked up off while he's on the golf course, again, tying into the golf course once again, as far as cannot just stay off the golf course, these guys, and that's the case. And they haven't spoken directly to LeBron on whether or not they want him to return. He's going to return, et cetera, et cetera. The rumors of Golden State and all that. The Lakers supposedly have calls that they're going to make at the start of free agency. And 2 of those calls first may go to restricted free agents, Jalen Duren and Walker Kessler. Now, those 2 situations have become somewhat, elongated in regards to the drama that's taken place in both Utah and Detroit because they seem to be far off in negotiations. So Sacramento has been talked about with Jalen Duren as well. And of course, the Lakers, again, with Walker Kessler and Jalen Duren, trying to get that big man for Luka. Your thoughts, my friend? On my Lakers latest channel the other day, I had said that this is a possibility the Lakers could try and do. They could try and do the overpay for one of those guys. Sure enough, a few days later, Joe, The center market for free agents is drying up even faster. Yusuf Nurkic signed 2 years, $22 million in Utah. Again, we talk about Kristaps Porzingis. Forget about waving a flyer at him. There's not much left in that marketplace at all. Trade options are getting less and less. So with that, Joe, could a call go into Utah or Detroit for Jalen Duren or Walker Kessler, and the Lakers be, with the cap space that they have, trying to focus in on trying to get one of them?
Well, the discussion now is that Jalen Duren wants to go to Sacramento, which
Yes.
I unfortunately was drinking something when I read that. And I almost spit it out.
I know I'm gonna do it.
Because I'm sitting there going,
but he still has a call with the Lakers.
I've already have to explain to so many people about these LeBron to Golden State rumors, right? And those who are
let them build. Let them. You know, Legend, I love you, man. I got nothing but love for you, my friend. But let them build the 2019 All-Star team, Joe. Let them, Joe. Please,
they can build it. And I'm be off the team.
This is low rent publicity BS that's probably being shot out by that D- agent of LeBron James, the guy that was selling CDs out of freaking trunks before LeBron met him. And my thing is with Jalen Duren is he wants a max contract. He's not going to get a max contract leaving Detroit. So my guess is that Sacramento is the destination, because then they can trade Duren, do a sign and trade for Sabonis, whom wants to get out, and I'm sure that the Kings want to get out, and his contract runs out, I believe, next year. So it makes a lot of sense money-wise for Detroit, and it makes a lot of sense for Duren because he knows he can get a max contract there if Detroit plays ball with him. So my guess there is Duren's going to be the second option, or the Lakers are going to be at least the second option, at least, if Detroit and Sacramento don't make a deal. Because then he's like, well, there might be something else again. But what I'm saying is the only way this works is if he leaves outright, which means he's going to be leaving money on the table and signing a 4-year contract. And I'm pretty confident. You're talking about a 22-year-old player who just made the third team. He didn't have a good playoffs, but he's young. You know, he's got time to learn, to improve there. But you're talking about a player that the Lakers need, and it would be a steal to get him at 4 years and the max, at least for the Lakers. What that would mean for Rui is guaranteed he's not coming back. And then LeBron, again, it always depends on how much money he's going to play for, right? Is he going to play for the money that would work or not? That's going to be up to him at the end. The second thing with Kessler is, I don't have any feel for Kessler. I don't know if it's bad or good. I don't really have a feeling there. I do know that Duren would give the Lakers some toughness that they need. And it's a young player. I mean, you're flipping that sucker.
He's 22, by the way.
Yeah, you're flipping that sucker all the way around. You're talking about if you bring in someone like Duren, even though they're not playing the same position, and obviously they're not going to have the same social impact with LeBron, but you're talking about you're flipping almost 20 years of age, and you're putting it also in a position that is not only wanted but needed. And it's a young player. So that, in my view, based off the current setup in the NBA, is he's going to have to come outright because the Lakers don't have anything to trade really for Duren to Detroit. Reeves. We have to hope. Well, can they trade him right now, or don't they have to wait?
Well, he has to sign and agree to a contract, which would be, I think, after the league calendar starts. I think the 4th or the 6th.
I don't see. Unfortunately, I do not see the Duren camp wanting to sign outright somewhere. I think somebody will do a sign and trade with Detroit for him, because it's just too young and too talented, too much upside that's there. So I wish, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Lakers would have to sign somebody like Kessler outright if Utah decides not to sign him or give him more money.
Kessler is more of a traditional center, just to let everyone know. It's 7'2", with Duran more of a kind of like a forward center at 6'9", very strong, great rebounder, limited as far as offensively, which caught up with him in the playoffs. You have to make sure you're spaced out to give him space to be available for lobs, but extremely athletic as far as it's concerned, just to give people an idea of what happened. But again, his playoff run has diminished his value in the eyes of Detroit, which is the reason why which is
a horrible assessment, by the way. I've seen Laker fans on forums talk about this, and I'm sitting there going, this guy's 22 years old, guys. Okay, I saw Manu Ginobili butcher the 2013 finals, and he was a Hall of Famer at that point. So I don't want to hear about this. He didn't play well in the playoffs. No one played well on Detroit in the playoffs. No one. Not a single player played up to their capabilities for a series in that. That's not a Duran. And you're not getting Duran to be a playoff difference maker as a one option. You need him to be the guy that can get you a damn rebound when you need it. And someone that's going to put fear in teams that are going to the basket. That's exactly what the Lakers need. Okay? You can go get shooters. You can go get wings that can do some things now that you have some money allocated or, freed up. You can do that. But this is a big, big acquisition if there's a way to make it happen. Unfortunately, it would be a shock if it happened because, again, he'd have to sign outright with LA, and that would mean no one wants to sign a trade with Detroit for him. I don't know. You guys are talking about Porzingis getting $40 million for 2 years. You're telling me that there are not going to be people out there that are going to want to give a 22-year-old beast that's coming up a $35 million a year contract for 5 years? There's no way.
Which is weird because DeAndre Ayton, for all the stuff that we said, Joe, and you put his season, and I don't want DeAndre Ayton back, but he did opted back in on his contract for another year. He actually had very comparable stats to Mark Williams. Mark Williams just got 3 years for $38 million, Joe, to give you an idea about the center market right now. Yeah, he actually he played in 12 more games than Mark Williams and got the same pretty much the same stats. So again, what does that tell you about the center market right now? Like you said, with Porzingis getting 2 years, $40 million.
You also have to factor in this, ladies and gentlemen. Every contract you sign is an asset for a trade, especially if it's a young player. So if the Lakers are able to find somebody better down the road, they have something to go.
But you're right on Sacramento, though. They've got 2 fat contracts because
and a short contract. Sabonis is a short contract. That's a big one.
And then Levine is just opted into the final year of his $50 million contract.
Yeah. And again, it's going to be something that's. I mean, I don't know. Sacramento's always rebuilding, so I'm not going to get into that. But in terms of how this works from a general manager trying to get something out of something when they're likely going to lose something, I have to see it though first. Again, I'm still sort of in that. I sort of have a little thing in my head though that's saying, is Detroit really going to let Duran go? Or is it going to be one of those things where tomorrow we find out they just signed him? Like that happens a lot. That happens more than not. Do
you see Rob getting desperate before I get it right back to you, Legend? Do you see Rob
Rob
is because of the promises he made to Luka?
Rob is a buffoon. That has no.
I agree with you on that one.
He's a buffoon that has no place as a general manager. And this is not just a Rob Pelinka thing. This is a league-wide issue that's been there for a very long time. The NBA general manager, player personnel / fight, whatever the hell, whoever makes the decision to get the thing built. The worst league is in the NBA. The worst ones are in the NBA. The amount of dumb transactions that go on. Again, this was before the stupid CBA. It is an utter just disaster for a lot of these guys in charge who have no idea what the hell they're doing. And the guys that do know what they're doing, they're so propped up. You have to celebrate it too. Like, it's only Sam Presti and maybe Conley now, and of course, look at Pat Riley. I mean, you got almost an 80-year-old man still whooping your ass. An almost 80-year-old man still whooping your ass in the NBA with all these restrictions, and you're still getting worked by the same guys that have been working. That's been working you when he was in his prime. How embarrassing is this? Seriously, it's an embarrassment. That's how bad general managing is in the NBA. And Rob Pelinka was hired because of comfortability. And this is a sport business. This is not trying to run a Kinko's back in the day, where you hire someone comfortable. Okay, anybody can be a general manager.
How many copies would you like, sir?
Yeah, anyone can be a general manager at a retail place. Anyone can be. They may suck at it worse than this person or whatever, but this is a whole different beast. You have to manage money and win. Winning isn't something that you worry about at Trader Joe's. You just need to sell. You need to make more money. No one's there going, yeah, we have the best wheat germ. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Brooklyn's from there.
Yes. Good. Brussels sprouts that are seasoned. Yeah. No one's doing that shit. All they care about is the money. This is different. This is general managing in a sport. Fans don't give a shit about your money. They don't. You don't believe me? Go talk to Yankee fans. Dude, go talk to Yankee fans about how it works. You cannot deny this time. You cannot deny what's going on in New York right now. Guys eating lollipops on the field. New York in general. You're watching Juan Soto, Mr. Alec. Can you allocate a clothing allowance after getting $765 million from my mother? Can't even field a routine single. He turned a routine single into a in the park home run to that dipshit cheating piece of shit George Springer, who looked like he was running with two dildos in his ass. Like, it was horrifying watching that display in a professional Major League Baseball moment. Right? Embarrassing. So, however, and I've had to explain this a few times, the reason why Rob is still there is because Mark Walter is placating Jeannie. I believe, I don't have proof, I don't have insider, it's just me in my head. Mark Walter got the team probably earlier than he could have, but agreed to certain concessions and maybe thought, well, I'll just let this run a little bit and then I'll get ahead of it a little bit now. And then when things, when she gets out of there, obviously I'm going to be able to get things situated from there. Or maybe they talk, maybe Jeannie said, can you give Rob a couple of years just to see if he can do this, and I'll sell you the team a year earlier. I'm just guessing here, guys. I don't have any inside info. Just common sense thinking. So if he doesn't do shit this year, which in a lot of ways, what can you do? It's
well, he set this up, Joe. Reports have him when Lucas signed that extension that he promised him wait until the summer of 2026.
Okay. First of all, the summer that matters is next year.
Well, no, he said 2026. So
2026, we're going to find out in a day and some change, a day from now, we're going to find out how things start. I don't think anybody's going to care if LeBron leaves. Not a lot of people. Some people will. He
said 26, Stepan. Don't start stretching that.
So if he said 26, I didn't hear him say that. I know I just read it, but I don't know if he said it. I don't know why you would say something like that. Were they just saying that for him to sign the extension? Where else was he going to sign the extension? He wasn't going to go anywhere, guys. A lot of these guys aren't going to just go anywhere when they got max super money coming. So we gotta see what happens here in the first few days. You gotta see what's going on, and then is it going to be a championship roster? I don't know. They need two players, really. They need a 3-and-D wing and a center like a Duren or a Kessler. You get those two picks and then some depth, yeah, you might have a chance to make some noise.
So with that said, and once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is a snack pack. It is Joe Soro for the Joe Soro Experiment. Also as well, I've got Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. Wanted to go ahead and ask your thoughts on this, Legend. Again, so much in disarray right now between both of our teams. A lot of, as far as Rob, who knows what could happen. A lot of calls are going to probably be made at the start of free agency. With your team, again, with Mike Dunleavy Jr. In a similar situation where you've got to question some of the moves that were made. But the biggest question of all is Draymond Green opting out of the final year of his $27 million contract right there in order to go ahead and do a best that he can impersonation of Jalen Brunson, trying to take a hit for the team to grow them. But it's to what they want to grow them with is the problem, because not only the addition of Kristaps Porzingis is questionable at the price that you got him for, but even if that does come through and you bring in a combo of AD, LeBron, if the rumors are led to be true, what does that do for your team? Is that something that could even be possible as far as competing with a much younger and more likely at this point in the timeline, talented team in Oklahoma City or San Antonio, just in the Western Conference?
Well, I'm not gonna do too much. I don't calm down, guys. I don't let my anger out now. But
it was good to see. You can let it out. We're here for it.
I let it out. I held that all day today. But it ain't gonna do too much. I mean, the only thing you're doing is basically trying to clear space to bring in a bunch of old guys, a bunch of guys who are past their prime, trying to bring a reality of Steph and LeBron playing on the same team. Not gonna lie, LeBron, it's not gonna win you the fifth rank, man. It's not worth it, bro. You're wasting your time. It's not gonna make a big difference. I get that Draymond is trying to do the Jalen Brunson, let me take a pay cut for the better of the team, but it's not gonna help the team get better. It's not the path to go. This is not the path. You're just going down the hill of basically doing what you've been doing the last couple of years. Make the play in, get into maybe you AC, you get Oklahoma, the Spurs, you get bouncing 4 or 5. Or you just make the play in and you lose in the play in, or don't make the playoff at all. One or the other. It's not going to make a lot of difference. This is not the path to go. You should be trying to get younger, not older. LeBron still can play. He ain't the same person from 2018. He's not that same guy that you battled against in the NBA Finals for so many years in a row. Anthony Davis. We ain't finna get 2020 Anthony Davis that won the Lakers a championship. That guy is long gone. The Anthony Davis we gonna get is the one when you play on 2K right now and play with Anthony Davis for 2 quarters, he's gonna be hurt. That's the one you're gonna probably end up getting. This is not it. This is not NBA 2K. Teams got to start doing this. We saw the Lakers do it a couple years ago. They had a nice little all-star team so many years ago. We saw what happened with that. It fell like there was no tomorrow. That fell so quick that it was just awful. And that's basically what you're doing right now. You're trying to get the little cheap girl off the street, trying to enjoy yourself, to have a little fun. They ain't going over. This ain't gonna win no championship. I don't know. Maybe LeBron and Steph just want to live their dream and play together. I don't know, but this ain't gonna work.
Did also want to mention some other details on what the Lakers did today, and then Legend, I'm going to get right back to you on the trade that was made with John Moran. I want to hear Joe's thoughts on that as well. But Nick Smith Jr., the team, as expected, did not pick up the final year option. for Nick Smith Jr., so he is an unrestricted free agent. And Marcus Smart has opted out, making him a unrestricted free agent as well. Just wanted to go ahead and mention those were the announced deals affecting the Lakers, but again, also as well, DeAndre Ayton opted in, which again I find curious because the fact that even though he had a up and down experience with the Lakers, he still statistically had a better season slightly than Mark Williams, who just got paid $12 million a year. So he could have gotten a raise from somewhere else that could be even more desperate for a center out there in the league. But with that said, Legend, I will bring it back to you in regards to a trade that was made earlier today in regards to John Morant to Portland for Brian Grant, and one more piece on top of that as far as it's concerned. Your thoughts on that? No draft choices were involved. I think it was just, okay, you take your bad contract, I'll take your bad contract. So with that said, my friend, what are your thoughts on Portland? Because it seemed like a year ago they were going to focus in on a youth movement in the backcourt with Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp. And in a matter of a year, they've completely gone into a completely different direction.
I kind of have to just look at that trade and say, what are we doing? I mean, I'm not surprised John Morant's value is pretty much dropped like a rock. But I thought
Chris Murray also was traded, by the way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I thought Portland was trying to go the young route. Instead, I don't know what you're doing now. And you got a bunch of guards. I'm not sure what's going on with all these guards, but a little confusing and just kind of questionable on what both sides are really doing. I know what Memphis want to do. I know they want to get rid of Ja. They did that. They got rid of him. But for Portland, I'm like, what are you doing? Because this to me don't really make you that much better. I mean, I'm not for sure what this really does. I'm a little baffled and a little confused on that one, on what is Portland doing on this side. I understand Memphis, but Portland, I don't know why you did this. I don't get that part on their end.
Well, I think with Memphis, they're just setting themselves up to go ahead and tank at this point in time and bottom out. They've got you want to trade draft, stuff for draft picks, or you want to trade your bad contracts. They're in a place where they're going to bottom out. It looks like they wanted to get rid of the bad influences and the bad stuff that was on their team previously, Legend, and just move on in a different direction. But Joe, for Portland, with the ownership, new ownership being very, how's the nice ways to say this? Frugal. I could say cheap, but I will say frugal. They've been very cheap as in the recent winks, as far as is concerned. With that said, especially the way that they treated their new hire for a coach, man, that's a lame deal as far as the coach. I mean, that's a California Angels special right there, Joe. If you know what I mean, if you're a baseball guy, you know what I mean on that. But with that said, Portland, I don't think this makes them any better. You're now putting everything on a Damian Lillard, who is not in the prime of his years, coming off an Achilles injury. John Morant, who does not space the floor anymore and only shows bits of that athleticism he once had. I don't know where this is going, and I don't think it's going to make Denny Advia much happier once the season goes along.
I think the tragedy in this Portland thing is the fact that these owners voted these guys to buy the team. And the continued disintegration of Adam Silver as the commissioner, it continues. And it's getting worse every year with him. That guy plays a big part in lobbying for this owner. So I don't know what the hell. I really don't know what the hell's going on with these decisions, with these owners. And of course, the fact that you have this stupid of ownership all over the NBA, and yet the players completely wilted in the last CBA. It's sad. It's sad because Here's what's going to happen, Gerald. It's going to turn into what happens in almost every situation. This is not just a current Dodger issue, because losers talk about winners. It's been going on for years. Even back when Jordan was winning, everybody was saying, "Oh, you can't touch Michael Jordan. It's a foul," right? And then it slowly turned into, well, the Lakers, they get helped by the refs because of, look what happened in Game 6 in 2002, blah blah blah. And then it's the Patriots, and then it's the Chiefs, and now it's the Dodgers. And what's going to happen is the Lakers are going to come back and be prominent again in a few years, and then there's going to be that excuse, "Oh, the league does this," and they were already doing that with the Luka thing. Apparently, the league conspired to get Luka to LA because LA was faltering, and then they gave them Cooper Flag as the number one pick. Like, just losers upon loser upon loser, and it if you're not careful, it'll disease you too. They'll get you in that little cocoon of loserdom, and you'll turn into one, and you won't even realize it. So the best way to do it is to maybe address it a little bit to make a point, but then just don't pay attention to it, unless you really like the banter. That's fine. But as far as Portland being relevant, Portland has bigger problems than their basketball team. Portland has no idea what the hell they're doing in their own community, much like a lot of these certain areas, certain cities. And I think with this new ownership, he's gonna identify more with the loserdom of that community, and maybe they'll embrace it. I don't know, but the Lakers have a dark cloud around them because the cancers are not gone. It'd be a whole different story if there was new management, if there was new leadership. Yes, I know you got Tony Bennett. Yes, I know you got some fucking rocket scientist out of nowhere. What is rocket science going to do for you? I don't know. I don't know what the point of that advertisement was. What? Because he's smart. He knows how to run a basketball team. I go, Ryan Fitzpatrick got a 50 on his Wonderlic and went to Harvard. But would you take him over Aaron Rodgers? Now, Aaron Rodgers is pretty smart, but is he rocket science smart? I don't know. Would you say Peyton Manning is a rogue? Someone said rogue scholar, and I always use that now. Probably not, but he's pretty smart. So all these things, if you have a drip of common sense and you're listening to stuff and you can put some things together, you'll be like, all right, cool, all right. Don't tell us you're pregnant. Just show us the baby, as the old saying goes. So the Laker fans are already up in arms because Laker fans are. I'm sorry to say this, but they're very whiny people. They're very adolescent-like, and they have no patience. They're like children in a lot of ways. And Dodger fans are the same way now that they're a little bit more entitled because their team is good. So it's like they're still babies when they win, and they're still babies when they're not winning. And it almost feels like everyone's waiting for Rob to screw up just so they can be right versus having any energy towards the team making the right decisions. Does that make sense, Gerald? Isn't that what it is?
It does. Yeah, you got that right on.
You got to be careful of people like that, man. Those people sabotage situations so that they can be right over winning.
No, I want the Lakers. Again, I've said on this show clearly that I would rather be wrong and the Lakers win a title. But the problem is we're way more right than we are wrong, which means the Lakers haven't won a title in a few years.
It's interesting. No. Someone mentioned something today on Lakers Ball, and I couldn't help but laugh. Would you say that there's a lot of illegal tampering going on right now?
Oh, absolutely. My gosh, they're calling LeBron all over the golf course right now as we speak.
So now, why is that okay, Mr. Adam Silver?
How can he control it?
How can he control it?
Control
How come when the
Draymond
Lakers
Green
do it,
calling
it's
up
all of a sudden
LeBron
bad,
right
and
now on the
everybody
golf
else doing it, it's okay? That's the question I have. He only looks when the Lakers are. Why? Because the other little dipshit owners are like, hey, man, Lakers are tiebreak. Do something about it. That's why I hate everything that I don't like. Does that make sense, Gerald? That's why I don't like things that most people like, because you don't trust these people. You can't trust anybody. This Portland owner, what was he doing? Didn't he have itemized lists of getting shorter flights with Spirit Airlines so that he can save money on picking airlines?
And in the playoffs, didn't send the two-way players along with the rest of the team, and then any as staff members outside of the essential staff and players were checked out early of their hotels, so they had to sit in the lobby until it was time to vacate. So,
that's going to get old really quick. By the way,
I will say this: he is extremely cheap and frugal, but his Carolina Hurricanes did win the Stanley Cup. But again, Joe, it's that same mentality that you often try to parlay to everyone out there about taking what's worked from you from another sport and bringing it into the NBA. And if
then you just answered, I guess, the question I had. Why would you allow this guy to own this team? Well, looks like I didn't know he was the owner of the Hurricanes. So
yeah. I mean, he just won a cup with the Carolina Hurricanes. So what do you? I mean, again, it's the same with Mark Walter. Mark, we're talking about the Dodgerification of the Lakers. Is that going to work? Is that mentality of bringing in what worked?
It will work, but you can't have the cancers from before there. That has to go.
Well, no. I'm just relating that into what's Portland. You know what I'm saying? As far as bringing that mentality, what worked for him with Carolina into the NBA with Portland. Will that work as well? It's just an interesting. I'm saying it from the vantage point. I'm just interested.
It will work, but the problem is you have the old. You can't really truly advance and have your own setup with previous people. I guess there's a few here and there, but as far as the major players, no, you cannot have Rob on this as a decision maker and make it work with no matter who the owner is. He is not capable of building a team and keeping it consistent. You're not asking.
I would like to be wrong in that aspect, but we're
not
correct.
wrong. We've been watching this man do this for 9 years now, hasn't it? Was it 9 years?
There's something in the name. Well, remember he was the GM under Magic Johnson.
What did Magic say about
Johnson's role? He has a dual role with this organization.
And again, I know Magic isn't an angel in this deal either. He's a terrible executive in terms of player acquisitions and.
But I'm just letting you know he's been the GM for I think essentially a decade or close to it now. Close ever since.
What was the summer? The summer of Mozgov was 16. Yeah. So
16. So
17.
A little less than a decade.
Yeah, he took over in
17. I think.
In the 17.
17?
Yeah.
So so a little less than a decade, but he has been the GM since that period of time.
Yeah.
He just assumed the president's mantle role as well when Magic left. But Legend, let me bring it back to you. Some reunions could be in place, and I'll name two for me. We're just it's 2026, and we're still talking about a lot of guys that made a lot of news in the past. And one of those that could still make news in the future is two guys, Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is heavily being rumored on its way back to Toronto, which again is a head scratcher to say the least. Why would you want to do anything right now concerning Kawhi Leonard? We don't know what the decision is with the aspiration case.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like if you are, that doesn't mean that, that means that Adam Silver is probably going to be just doing some slap on the wrist and making everybody angry. But with that said, we'll start with, before we get to Anthony Davis, because that's been a hot topic on my other channel, with Kawhi Leonard going back to Toronto. Why?
It just don't make sense either. That's another head scratcher decision. Like, it's not. You won in 2019, even though you won through injuries, but I won't bring that up. But you won in 2019. You're not going to repeat that magic. It's not about to happen. It's just not gonna happen. This is not the same Kawhi that you had in 18 or 19 season. So the fact that they are doing this is very head scratching because it's like you're better off building with your young up and coming potential star player. Keep building through him. If you bring Kawhi in, you could possibly stunt that growth. It's not worth it. If you were guaranteed that you can probably come out the East, okay, I can understand it. But that's not guaranteed if you do this move. It's just another move that just don't make a lot of sense. Unless you just want to sell tickets and just want to bring that memory of the one championship that we got in this franchise. Here we go, guys. He's coming back in the building. You probably ain't gonna win another one. It just don't make sense. It's just a weird move. And that's the thing that really kind of just made no sense about everything from today. A lot of these GMs, you just wondering who the hell is running these teams. Like, in people's mindset, it makes you say, all of us here, we can run a team at this point. Cause I'm looking at what they doing, you know, different from me. So I might well go up here and be like, I don't know, just take him. He sound like he can do something. Bring him back. You know, I can win in 2K with him. Bring him back. Maybe we can do it in real life. That's what it look like. What you're doing at this point, it makes no sense. It don't make sense.
So with that said, also another reunion. Before we get to that, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to our super chats for the day. 805 says, "Why do Lakers always hire tall, skinny, awkward GMs?" In this case, with a leather jacket and Rob Pelinka. 805. He was, obviously so close to Kobe, and that's how he got his job. I'll leave it at that. And Mission 24, appreciate the big super chat right there, 1999. Cannot thank you enough for your kindness and truly appreciate it. So the second reunion that people have been clamoring for, and I'm still at a loss. Why? I still love Anthony Davis, Joe. I still love AD. I still have a place and fondness for what he did at 2020. But I have seen how his career has gone since then. I have seen the injuries start to pile up, where everybody on the Lakers that was watching, as far as Lakers fans are concerned, held their breath every time he hit the floor 10 times a game. I seeing him at 33, he looks like a shell of what he used to be. Yet he is wanting a new deal, wanting an extension that would get him another extra 2 years, $140 million. Let me just say that again. 2 years, $140 million would be his extension right now if he were to be given one. So with that, Joe, him being tossed around as far as Golden State, but also as a possibility of coming back to the Lakers, that has been mentioned quite a bit in recent days as well. Your thoughts on this reunion? Legend had some great thoughts on Kawhi Leonard reuniting with Toronto. An AD reunion, would that really work out as well? I mean, that's a big risk, him coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers, Joe.
Consider the source. Same reason why this Golden State stuff's going on is Rich Paul's trying to get Washington to pony up a max contract for AD. That's it. And as far as
$70 million for
as
a
far
30
as
at
Golden
that
State's
time will
as
be
far
a
as
37
Golden State's
mil.
concerned, this is the fact that they brought back Steve Kerr was the first realization that they're going to continue this senior citizen move. I don't dislike Steve Kerr, but he is an irritant to me. He means well. I think his heart's in the right place, but this is something I say in my own circles. He's a one ball man. He still has a ball, but he doesn't have both balls. He's that kind of guy. I believe the current name for most of these guys are beta types. He's a one, but I like to have something of my own, just because that's how my brain works. He's a one ball man. He doesn't really have a lot of. He has a lot of fortitude when it comes to things he can talk about when they're far away, like most semi-cowards. But when he has to deal with his own situation with like a Draymond Green, the fact that he didn't unleash on that guy and fix whatever was going on in there goes to tell you how much. Because you really think Phil Jackson would have put up with a Draymond Green? I think Pat Riley would have put up with a Draymond Green? Pat Riley didn't deal with even Shaq. Sent his ass to Phoenix the second he got mouthy. So here's something you guys can think about a little bit. And we talked about it on the last show. And we've talked about it for a year now. The Lakers need to build this summer. If Jalen Duren is the guy that they can somehow manage to get, which is not likely because you have to also understand the restricted free agent setup. If you go that route, that means you have to wait for Detroit to match it, which they likely will. It's going to be very hard to get Jalen Duren outright. Now, you can go get Kessler, but you're going to have to pony up a good amount of money. Maybe. Still don't know about that one. However, my feeling is they're going to work around the margins, get this thing built a little bit better now, and then see how things play out for next year. Because I think next year, that's when they really need to take the next step because there'll be more talent next year to play with. You have another year where you can draft. You'll have another summer where you can add players. This team needs probably a couple of off seasons and a couple of drafts to build the depth. You have to have depth. You just have to. You have to have the depth to play against what will be a Oklahoma City and a San Antonio team that are going to be good for at least the next 5 years. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. It's half a decade. 5 years is a lot. And unfortunately, they got a lot of old guys and they have a lot of players that are not really – that includes the one they even signed that has a lot of deficiencies. So in order to hide those deficiencies, you're going to have to plug in the gaps of those deficiencies with other players. You're not going to look at New York, the Knicks, and say, man, this team was perfectly constructed. They weren't. They just – each guy was able to cover Cat's deficiencies. Cat was able to cover for maybe Bridges' deficiencies. It's got to work in that way. But you also do have Luka Doncic, and he covers up a lot of those deficiencies. But there has to be a way where they set this thing up to where we talked about this during the season. When Luka and Reeves and LeBron were expending too much energy to get what they need. It's too much energy for three guys, one being in his 40s, the other being someone that's not athletic. Too much. And then it's all on Luka. Luka will do Luka things no matter what, but he blew a tire at the end. That March, as beautiful as it was watching them play, none of those guys were equipped to handle an 82-game season like that and then go in another 2.5 months to win a championship. None of them were. They were not conditioned to do that. That's something that needs to work. That's something that needs to freaking happen. And I'm hoping that now that Luka got into shape last year, this is another year now where he can start making sure that he doesn't get any soft tissue injuries. Unfortunately, Numbnuts, who just signed, doesn't look like he's working on a shot, which is the sad part about that. He's still not working on his basketball shot. He's working on his chipping. That bothers me. And then as far as LeBron and what's going on, if LeBron comes back, I'm not going to be upset. And if he doesn't come back, I'm not going to be upset. And we'll know for sure at that point that the youth movement is on its way. The thing that sucks, though, recently, that's for sure, is DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton has mental issues, guys. Not in a sense of like he needs to be in an asylum or anything like that. No. his brain is not. It doesn't function well all the time. I don't know if it's the dope that he takes, probably, meaning like marijuana. I don't know. I don't want to diss on the Bohemians because I'm a huge Rick Fox fan, and Rick handled business his entire career when I watched. Obviously, Michael Thompson, awesome, but I don't know what the deal with him is, other than his focus is just shit. And how are you going to convince this guy in the last year of his contract to be a backup center? Because that's his only worth on this team, honestly. He's not a starter anymore. He's a backup center. And I wouldn't mind having him as a backup center if you have somebody like Kessler, if they end up getting him, or like Duran. Then that would work. But will he accept that role? My initial answer to that is probably not. At least not the entire year, and he'll probably pick the worst time of the year like he did this last year to be a dipshit. Because they really needed him in that Oklahoma City series. They really needed him. And the fact that he couldn't do shit against that anorexic, basement-dwelling fucking center of theirs, and then I have to watch another beanpole make him look like a fool. It's like, dude, at least DeAndre Ayton has some beef on him. Like, you couldn't move Chet around a little bit. You let him. You let that guy jack you up. A 7-foot guy that weighs like 199 pounds. It's all mental with that guy. He's useless. Backup center throughout the year, and when you need him, okay. But he ruins the juices around the team. He just doesn't. He doesn't provide anything good. I would if he acts up, I would dump him around February, March if he acts up, in my view. I don't think there's any point in having somebody like that, especially if you feel like you can make a run. Yeah, that's just not. I just don't. He's not what this team needs. He's too. There you go, Tough. Thank you. The word aloof. He's too aloof, and it's funny too because I used to hear that about Kobe. I go, Kobe's not aloof. What are you, crazy? Kobe's a focused maniac. What, he doesn't want to go to clubs? Is that being aloof? I don't think so. Aloof is what DeAndre Ayton is.
So with that said, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It's a snack pack. We're trying to set you up for free agency. So with that, Legend, again, the free agent list has dwindled down even more. It wasn't a great free agent list to start off with. Looking at the free agents that are available, and man, another one that I can't believe. What? I hope James Harden knows what he's doing, because not only does Draymond Green, getting out to his 27, he better have something set up with Golden State. Is all I say with him. But James Harden opting out of his $42.7 million deal, assuming Cleveland is going to go ahead and re-sign him on some sort of deal. I wouldn't touch that. After what I saw defensively in the playoffs, I would walk away and far away and quickly. I would do like the Matt. I would do like the Jason Bourne deal, Legend. I would Jason Bourne fast walk away as fast as I could from James Harden once he opted out of the deal. But that being said, the list of unrestricted free agents that can positively affect effective team in a certain way on either end of the floor are not that great. Are there any free agents that you see out there that you think your teams, either Atlanta or Golden State, have any interest in? Maybe one that just left Golden State and Atlanta in Jonathan Kuminga.
Well, I will say I was a little surprised that they let Kuminga go into free agency, so I was a little surprised with that one, with us trying to go toward the youth route. But I'm kind of interested to see if they doing that. Are they trying to redo a contract? Why they let him out his original and trying to make a new one? Not for sure on what the Hawks are trying to do on that part. Golden State, I don't even trust them at this point. I don't know what they're trying to do anymore. I kind of lost on Golden State at this point. But I mean, hey, who knows? JSJ, maybe you're right. Maybe Kuminga might pop up to LA. He might be with you guys. I don't know. It's hard to say anymore at this point. But The only thing I would say this, Gerald, that has really caught me off guard the most was the Lakers letting Marcus Smart walk to Houston. It looks like that's a little odd.
Well, I mean, yeah, they had a chance. I mean, when the finals end, Legend, you can renegotiate with your pending free agents whether they have decided to opt out or not. And the only confirmation we've got, obviously, was the talks between the Lakers and Austin Reeves. There's been no confirmed talks as of yet at all with LeBron, and not any to Marcus Smart. So, like you said, the rumors of him hopping somewhere else are becoming greater and greater. And again, for someone who did give a positive amount at the amount that he got, although how much is being considered, is it going to be another deal like what the Lakers saw through last year that they didn't regret letting walk as far as it's concerned? But when it comes to what we're seeing with Marcus Smart, yeah, he played really well, and I don't know what's going to go on with him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happened with him. I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with the Jalen Duren situation and with the Pistons. I would think they're going to bring him back somehow. That they're going to. I'm thinking maybe Jalen Duren is being smart and kind of taking advantage of other teams interested in him and use that as leverage to get what he wants from the Pistons. But I just have a hard time believing the Pistons is going to let him walk or end up losing, I should say. So, and end up doing the sign and trade. I would question to let a guy that young, you just let him go just because he had one bad playoff run. I would still bring him back and see if he can grow from that. So I'll be a little surprised if he end up going somewhere else. But, it's kind of interesting seeing what is out there right now. Out there on the fence, you have seen Klay Thompson then get thrown around a little bit too about maybe possible Kawhi Leonard to Dallas. Heard that a good little bit ended up happening. So it's kind of interesting seeing the names that are floating around right now. But we're going to see. I'm not surprised at Aiden, though. I kind of figured Aiden would do that. He kind of got no choice. Let you know the market must not have been that great.
Again, this is someone, Legend, whose stats are, and again, I want to get off the DeAndre Ayton experience, but his stats are just as good as Mark Williams, and he got $12 million a year. So I don't know what's going on with this market. It makes absolutely no sense. I guess it's based off of beauty is the eye of beholder. But again, DeAndre Ayton, we're stuck with him for at least for now as he opts into his deal. But Joe, as mentioned and others have mentioned, what happens again? Well, they also have to make a decision on Bronny, but that's too bad. Too bad they're not letting us decide that one. But with Marcus Smart, it seemed like the Lakers didn't really want to go ahead and try all that hard to bring him back or retain him because we've heard little on that side as far as any news they're concerned. And now you're hearing rumors of a possible venture to Houston, similar to the path that Dorian Finney-Smith has made. Now, the DFS deal didn't work out for Houston, but if he goes to Houston, does Marcus Smart make that team substantially better?
Lakers may be going on a youth movement here. That's probably why they don't bring Smart back. I really appreciated Marcus Smart's effort. I enjoyed watching him play. I thought he was amazing for considering the setup. But the Lakers need to start getting younger. And if he doesn't sign back, it's likely the signal that the Lakers are probably not going to be signing LeBron either. You got to move on. You have to move on. The only way LeBron comes back if he takes $15 million a year, and the Lakers will have no choice but to pick him up because he's a better option than in terms of talent than anybody else. But I just don't see it. I don't see it at the moment. This team has to move on. It needs to get younger guys. The problem is the setup still sucks because if they give Duren an offer sheet, I am almost positive Detroit's gonna match it. So then these guys are gonna waste a week waiting for him to make a decision. and lose out on other people if they are looking for somebody. And
by the way, Bronny deal does have to be done within the next few hours.
First of all, Bronny doesn't make enough money anyways to matter. And the moment his dad's not a Laker, he's gone.
Well,
anyways.
I'm just answering the chat's question.
The fact that anyone brings up Bronny is it's like talking about your neighbor's vehicle and whether they need to get maintenance. Who gives a shit what your neighbor's maintenance time is on their car? Seriously, the soap opera that people live in their life, you guys have to get out of that. Seriously. It's like Dodger fans with Dalton Rushing. I hear so many times, I want someone who cares. Well, someone cares, and then you're mad that they care because they're not caring the way you want. Why don't you sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up once in a while? How about that? Too many people have a forum when they shouldn't. Too many. There used to be a time where there was only 3 channels, 3 networks, and that's it. And if you wanted to have a forum to talk, you had to be on radio, you had to be on TV, whatever. Now it's like, geez, you can't get away from... Bronny James is the discussion in this. We're trying to talk about a team that needs to build a championship. You fuckers are talking about fucking Bronny James. Fuck Bronny James, okay? He ain't going to do shit. And we've been saying this for how long? Even my guys at Lakers ball are still delusional. Oh, I don't mind him having a couple more minutes this year. I'm like, you fucking nuts? What is wrong with you people? He is not an NBA player yesterday, today, or tomorrow, or in any realm on planet Earth. Never was. It was a sideshow. It's a sideshow. It never mattered. All these people cheering for him to make a basket. This is PTA bullshit at school. Let's have the fifth quarter, guys, so that everyone can play. Yay! And you wonder why society is a fucking pussy ass bitch. This is why. I saw this shit coming in the 90s. Everyone that's sitting on their high horse thought it started 5 years ago. Bitch, this stuff was starting in the early 90s. Okay? They started letting everyone make the football team. I remember. I was on the last Pop Warner team back home that had cuts. That's how old I am. They had cuts, Gerald. They had cuts. They cut players who couldn't keep up and handle football. And then all of a sudden, within a year, and I was a kid then, I didn't understand what was going on, right? All of a sudden, they're like, oh, yeah, we don't do cuts anymore. We just let everybody play. I'm like, really? I didn't get as emotional as I do now because I was a kid. I didn't know how that was. Like, it didn't make sense, but I was like, I was a kid. But at what point does mediocrity and shit ever just come up in your face and make you realize how fucking ass smell it is? What about Bronny James? The fuck Bronny James? This team needs to win championships because the fuckers over there in Boston, there's a weakness starting right now. You should be talking more about that. They're going to lose Jaylen Brown. And that's what those pigs do up there, by the way.
Oh, that's still on my list.
All you got to do is talk about Isaiah. Go talk to Isaiah Thomas. Go talk to Isaiah Thomas how they treated him. Yeah. That's the reality of that. So, let's talk about what the Lakers can do realistically and stop getting your panties in a bunch on June 29th. Can you let this thing play out a little bit? Play it out. Let the thing start. Oh, let's talk about fucking Bronny James. What a fucking Bronny James. Unfucking believable. I can't understand it. Can't understand this thinking. It's mind-boggling to me.
I think I've got to say, I actually have to add that to the disclaimer in the bottom legend that we are not responsible for waking up your elders. Sorry, Mateo. Oh my God.
Tough. You can't say that the Lakers aren't going to make the playoffs next year because that doesn't make any sense. Unless Luka is out for the year in February, something like that. The Lakers have, in my view, one of the top 3 basketball players on the planet. Okay, you could say I know SGA is the MVP, but I still would take Luka over SGA. But let's just say I'll placate this for Oklahoma City fans. It's SGA, it's Jokic, and it's Luka. And Wemby's 4 right now. So when you have one of the best players on the planet and a little bit of structure, a little bit of talent, which the Lakers had, you're going to make the playoffs. But this is the Lakers. The Lakers aren't in this business to make the playoffs. They're in this business to win championships. And this is the first step. You couldn't do it before. You had LeBron. Some numbnuts gave him a 2-year deal before when they could have just given him a year. Lakers could have started this thing last year and had a little bit more heads up. But, they didn't. So now you have an opportunity here to make the right choices. Make the right choice to build a young team around Luka. Luka wants a center. By the way, Gerald, did Luka say that in a video, or did I miss that?
No, it is again based off reports that he wants an
so here's what I got. You remember DX? You remember DX?
Center.
Remember DX?
Yes.
This is what I think about your reports. Just like your brawny bullshit. Okay, I believe nothing unless I see the guy says it. And even then, now you got to be careful too with AI. But AI is easy to spot. I don't want to hear about reports. I want to hear it from the guy's mouth. And of course, when I heard that, I'm like, Luka doesn't talk like that. Luka's not going to just go, hey, I want a center that I can pass to. Luka doesn't do that shit. Stop believing everything you see on fucking TV and stop fucking cheering for fucking guys that don't belong in the NBA. You want to win, you got to make the hard choices and get the right fucking players. And guess what? You also got to understand the circumstances of what's going on in the NBA too. These numbnuts agreed to this deal 2 years ago, and this is why you can't do shit. It's why everything is delayed all the time. Kawhi going to Toronto. Who came up with that one? We know that he's not going to be in LA because Shams, right? Like that's the one source that everybody goes to. He says he's not going to be in LA. Why would you say Toronto? Why would he want to go to Toronto? If he wanted to stay in Toronto, he would have stayed in Toronto. Why the hell would he want to go back to Toronto now? And what does Toronto have to send to LA? Oh, no, I heard it on somewhere reported. Reported where? Up your ass? It's nonsense. It's utter nonsense, and it doesn't get called out enough. Numbnuts talking out of their ass doesn't get called out enough. I'm just fortunate that I have enough energy to do it and enjoy it, because most people can't. Most people get depressed. They'll get kicked back. They'll start crying in the room. Whatever. It is what it is. But the Lakers, in my view, at this moment today at 10:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, they are lurking on some things, but based off the rules, the Jalen Durans and the Kesslers, they're going to have to make some decisions. And then on top of that, Duran doesn't really have the full decision. He is a restricted free agent. Am I correct, Gerald?
Yes.
So what happens when someone's restricted, Gerald?
You can make an offer. You can offer them an offer sheet. But as I put in the chat, as far as how many days it can take or marinate before the other team has to decide whether or not they want to go ahead and match the offer or not, or work out a sign and trade, et cetera, et cetera. So it does take several days for it to marinate. But let's just say Legend, I'm offering $40 million for Jalen Duren, as far as is concerned, on a 5-year deal, whatever, but $40 million on the first year. That $40 million on that offer sheet sits, and I cannot use that $40 million anywhere else, which I know I got a lot of heat back on my Lakers latest guys in regards to people saying that the Lakers would never do that. We could be on the preface of the Lakers doing just that, guys. And I'll just leave it at that, Joe, before I get into legend on Jaylen Brown. But did you want to finish anything off on that? Because again, the Lakers, if they have phone calls set up with Jalen Duren and Walker Kessler, they could be doing just that.
You know what they could have done with Jaylen Brown, unless he's a really like whining wuss, which isn't out of the realm. You could see that there's an ownership change that has happened, number one. The other part of this, they have a lot of debt that these guys took on. And if you're a smart person, you understand business. Jaylen Brown gets paid a lot of money. And he's a very, very, very good player. He really is. Notice I said very, very, very good player. I never saw him as a great player. Jason Tatum has spurts, but he's still a very, very, very good player. The great ones are Jokic, Luka, SGA, and soon to be Wemby. Those are great players that are playing in the NBA right now. Probably the only 4. Great players. Jaylen Brown's very, very, very good, but he makes iconic, great money. And then you're paying another guy super max money. It's very difficult to watch your team continue to be a regular season team and losing when it matters, despite what the situation was. Now, Boston could have at least, unless I don't know if they did this. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. But I would have sat Jaylen down and said, listen, we have to trade you if we don't get this deal. Because we can't, it's too top heavy on this team. But it doesn't sound like those discussions happen. I think it was, let's get Jaylen in this package to try to go get Giannis and hopefully get a deal, which, by the way, I still believe was the best deal for Milwaukee. But I think Milwaukee wanted a clean slate with all the draft picks. I think that's probably what their preference was. And I also think that in a lot of ways, I think Giannis wanted to go to Miami. And by the way, it's not because he wanted to be close to Greece, because I already did my homework on that. It's the same freaking distance on a flight from Milwaukee to Greece as it is in Miami. So always do your homework. Always do your homework, guys. Always do your homework. What you hear online 90% of the time is bullshit. And actually, that might be a conservative number. Go look at it. Milwaukee to Greece. Miami to Greece. I think one said 12 to 13. The other one said 13 to 14. They don't fucking difference. They made it sound like it was a fucking puddle jumper away in Miami because people are stupid. They have no geographical knowledge of the world. Do your homework. Stop listening to reports. Because you know who puts out reports? Guys like Rich Paul saying, hey, the guy that plays like 40 games a year, Anthony Davis, might go to Golden State to go play with Curry and them. Maybe this will move Washington to give them the max. Come on, you fucking break. Anyone who gives Anthony, I love Anthony too. I always will love Anthony Davis. I really, truly love his game. When he was on, he was a beautiful player to watch. And I liked his demeanor and I liked his personality. But you cannot give a max contract to a guy that plays 40 games a year. And that's putting it nice at this point. You cannot do that.
So let me get it back to legend here. Again, interesting that we've not heard a decision made on Bronny James. And I'll just leave it at that as of this recording. And the decision should have probably already been made. Or maybe has already been made, or I think probably has been made, but it just has not been announced, which again is very interesting indeed. But legend, Jaylen Brown, again, is another individual. I don't know how Jaylen Brown comes back to the Boston Celtics at this point. His Twitch streams ought to be, will be becoming extremely volatile if that's the case. But after being bandied about in the offerings for Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't work out, he is now being bandied about in trade discussions with other teams. Who do you think might be interested in getting a Jaylen Brown? Because as Joe said, he's a good player, a very good player, coming off a career year due to circumstances. Not a guy you would probably want to build a team around now that he is approaching the big 3-0, but a guy as a number 2 could still be possibly a guy that you could still win a lot of games with.
First team I'm going to throw in there is my Atlanta Hawks. You're at home. You're in Atlanta. You're in Georgia. Best part about the whole thing, Jaylen Brown, you're from Marietta, Georgia. Guess what? Marietta is literally like 20 minutes from State Farm Arena. Literally. And I know that by heart because I go that direction to go see my girlfriends. I know that by heart. Take you 20 minutes to go from Marietta, Georgia to State Farm Arena. And who knows, maybe they're trying to make a move for him by putting Kuminga out there right now. Just put him in free agency. So that's one team I can definitely see going after. I actually heard it. Their name is involved trying to go after them. Another one I heard, but don't make sense enough seeing everything they done so far, is Portland. They don't got a bunch of guards, so I'm not for sure. Are they like stacking up a trade package to go for Jaylen Brown? I'm not for sure. But that's another team I don't heard a lot about. He could be tied to. And then the other one that I also heard about, but that I don't think this is probably going to happen. I heard Dallas. I'm not sure you want to go to Dallas knowing how things been over there. But those are 3 names I know I heard. And there are other teams too, but I wasn't sure about them. But I know the Hawks are going to really be in the midst just because it's hometown. I kind of figured they're going to throw their name in the hat.
What about a guy like you mentioned Dallas? It really doesn't make sense to keep him on there. I know that the old Kyrie Irving coming off the injury. I know that they tell you the company line, oh, we want to see him and Cooper Flag play together. But do you realize we're at a stage now, Legend, in 2026 where Cooper Flag is almost half the age, literally half the age of Kyrie Irving? I just don't see the value in keeping those two together. Getting something, if you can get some value for Kyrie Irving sooner rather than later, might make some sense.
Now, if they want to go that route, that makes a lot more sense. You want to get a second person with Cooper Flag that is younger. That makes a lot of sense because Kyrie is getting up in age, but I'm not for sure that's the route they're going or not. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out in the long run, but that would make a lot more sense if that's what Dallas is looking for, trying to get a little bit younger by swapping Kyrie. But will Boston really want Kyrie back though after what happened the first go around? Wouldn't think so.
When he said he wants to retire a Celtic, I don't think this is exactly the route he meant, Legend. I don't think so. But is there any other intel of anything of any interest or note before we head into free agency? Anything more of note as far as from the NBA or your team standpoint that what you're looking for as far as interest is concerned as we head into free agency this, mid-afternoon tomorrow?
Another one that it's already happened, the Miles Bridges. I was a little surprising too.
Yes, Miles Bridges to the Suns. I mentioned that on the Lakers latest earlier yesterday. Yes.
That was
very interesting. Thoughts on that one? What do you think about Charlotte's kind of changes that they're making? They're a team that's getting out on the promise that they had, but they're getting out early on guys like Bridges and Ball. Is that a smart move? Because not a lot of teams do that. They get out early on these potentially high-priced players that could become costly later on.
I want to say I understand what they're doing on that part. You want to avoid paying high money, especially on a team that is not in championship contention right now. You don't want to pay a bunch of guys such high salaries for nothing. So I understand that part. I was a little puzzled. I'm like, you just came off of probably the best season, God knows when, and you moving around. So, but I do like what they brought in though. Again, Nas Reed and all. I do like that part. That wasn't bad. That was a pretty good move to me. But interesting wise. We'll see how that looks when the season starts.
We'll see what happens, but please go ahead and make sure you're online with Legend at I Got Next Sports Media. Like and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Joe, it should be an interesting day. We'll go ahead and come with you on a recap probably, well, tomorrow night at the very latest, but I could come on in early evening, but I'd probably rather do it after 9. Would be right about now. I'd like to do another 9 p.m. show. It's probably what my schedule will dictate best on that. Unless something dramatic really happens, maybe we'll have to go on the air as best we can on that. But Joe, your thoughts on the Lakers on the eve of free agency? Could be the end of LeBron James' era in LA. It could be the start of a new era for a A-list center somewhere, somehow in LA. What are your thoughts on what Rob Pelinka in LA might do before we head on out?
I have no idea. I would be ready. I would be
And you
on
know
the
what the
alert.
problem is, Joe? Well, hold on. You know what the problem is? If Rob Pelinka in El Segundo is saying that exact same phrase, that scares the shit out of me. And yes, I said that as well.
I'm not scared. I think I just got to be patient. I'm in patient mode at this point. And I try to hope to be wrong a lot during a day, and unfortunately most of the time I'm not. And a lot of the comments and a lot of the stuff I read just reiterates the utter idiocy of people's opinions and thoughts, which cloud a lot of this stuff too. Maybe I was reading a little too much on the Yankee stuff going on, and maybe that's kind of given me a little bit of perspective. I mean, imagine having a Pelinka running your baseball team as the manager. Imagine how terrifying that would be. And then, of course, seeing what's going on in New York, in Queens, I should say. They gave a guy $765 million and a clothing allowance for his mother so that he can bumble a single. So that turned into a home run. So maybe the perspective there is giving me a little bit more patience with what's going on in LA, because I am very, very comfortable with the fact that the new ownership is someone we know, someone who is a winner. The only issue is I think he made a deal with the previous majority owner that he would hang on to these schleppers a little bit longer until he can finally get them the hell out of there. If these guys were all out of there, I'm pretty sure that this would not be an issue right now. I think there would be a little bit more clear look, and it might be clear. Things might change tomorrow. I'll be prepared for the breaking news stuff tomorrow, even on the experiment if I have to, and we can figure out what to do next. Wednesday is going to be tough because I'm going to be gone all day, but tomorrow,
my early afternoon is going to be tough tomorrow on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's going to be tough It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to have a show on Wednesday on a whim, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. And then if I'm mobile or whatever, I can get on and talk. But I for some reason, I'm not worried about what's going to happen here, because it's just not something that I have a lot of expectations, and I'm a Laker fan. I'm looking for the home run, guys. I'm a slug guy. And I'm still thinking about next year until I don't have to think about next year. 2027 was the year in my head from last year, looking at how things were playing out. And there's one player that I'm waiting on. There's one player I'm waiting on. And that's the guy that flips the league. That's the guy putting together with Luka would flip the league. You want to talk about crying, whining bitches? Oh my God, it's going to be glorious. It'll be glorious when that happens. All the conspiracy theorists and loser talk when they start winning, it's going to be beautiful. I'm just going to sit there and laugh while they cry, just like I see all the non-Dodger fans crying about why the Dodgers go into their own crib, their favorite team's crib. And I was there yesterday, guys. This is not this isn't something I reported. Oh, reports say the sky is yellow. Looks blue to me. And I'm looking at it. Watching the utter disdain of losers watching winners perform. When you're a winner, you should never worry about what losers think. So I'm not thinking about the Sacramento Kings or the Detroit Pistons or what the fuck Steve Kerr and his one ball are doing in freaking goals. I don't give a shit about any of those guys. I couldn't give a fuck about any of those people. Okay? Let it play out, then make your assessment. If you guys live that kind of a life where you're that bored, where you like the drama, okay, I'll buy that. But do you really want to do that in sports? Go watch a fucking reality show. That shit's faker than the shit in Genie's face. Don't you want shit to be real? Isn't fake enough? Aren't we tired of watching all these anorexic, Ozempic, plastic surgery pieces of shit that are online and on whatever all day, every day telling you what to do? Every fucking show nowadays is some douchebag talking to another douchebag. And I'm sure there's a couple of idiots out there that think we're the same thing, but we're not. I'm not out showing my ass on Instagram. Do you see my ass, Gerald, on Instagram?
I hope not.
Okay, no. The answer is no.
I'd be traumatized for weeks.
And this is not a report, by the way. It's true. Go
years,
look at it.
baby.
Okay? All so that people can get views. No, I build things, guys. I go to people's homes, and it changes their lifestyle. That's what I do. I change lifestyles. We build stuff. We actually create shit and help people get what they want. I don't sit with my thumb up my ass just talking out of any ass. Again, you think you can think I'm an asshole. You're probably right. You can think I'm a narcissist. You're probably right there. You can think I'm loud and obnoxious. 100%. You're probably right there. But I'll tell you what. When it matters most, who do you think they call? And I got proof with that too. Go talk to my boys. So I have, as a Dodger fan, have been so spoiled for the last 13 years. It's going to be 14. In watching what an organization, I can say, should be everywhere. These guys are all billionaires. These guys are all powers of industry. I've been spoiled. I've been spoiled in watching in my view, the greatest run franchise in sports right now, which is the LA Dodgers. And if you're going to ask me that same man who is in control of that is now in control of my other favorite team, how am I going to be nervous? Circumstances are different, sure, but guys like that don't not figure it out, guys. But at the same time, these numbnuts agreed to this structure, and it's going to delay things a little bit more versus what it would be in baseball. It'll still get done right, guys. Again, I use Stan Kroenke, the guy that owns the Rams and the Avalanche and the Nuggets. This guy's won a championship with all these teams, and even won one with the soccer team he owns. So you can't sit there and say, oh, well, it's different in the NFL. It's different. It is, but he still won, and he's still winning. He just went and got Myles Garrett for nothing. And he's got the MVP now. And if a couple plays and that's sports, right? Just a couple plays went this way instead of that way, the Rams would have been Super Bowl champs. I feel bad for the Rams a little bit for that because they would have finally got some revenge on New England on that because New England is the worst Super Bowl team participant I've ever seen in I can say my memory of watching the Super Bowl since 1987, 88. That was my first memory of watching the Super Bowl. So it's been almost 40 years, if not 40 years. So that's it. That's my button on the night. Everybody got what they wanted. They got some knowledge, hopefully. They got some updates. They got some rants. Guys, I'm only doing this show because you asked for what we do. It's about the audience. It's always going to be about the audience. The only thing I'm not going to compromise is my ass.
So much talk about your ass on this show. I'm not.
Well,
really
I'm trying
sure
to. You could look at it literally or figuratively. I know you.
I don't want to look at it literally. I don't want to look at it anywhere literally.
Yeah, well, because your mind is in a bad place. You got to get out of that. Okay, this is a discussion about. We're here to provide information and entertainment. Okay, and it doesn't have to be again my ass like 90% of the population because they have no talent. But I meant that figuratively. You turned it into literally, and I have to backtrack.
Yes, it was intentional. Yes, it got amusement from the crowd. That's the idea.
And now someone is saying, should we give Bronny a 5-year, $200 million extension? Yes. As a matter of fact, I'd give him $250. How about that?
He's just trying to piss you off. He said the original statement earlier. He's trying to.
If it's a joke, I'm with it.
He is trying to joke with.
But if people are talking seriously about this, and again, I'm not just blaming the people on here. I already had this. Yeah, this got ignited today on Lakers Ball with my favorite people there.
Joe, someone is a long-time respected member of the community. He's doing this to bust your balls.
Yeah,
lovingly, of course.
It's utter another image. What does Jean-Pierre say in Talladega Nights? This is nonsense. Those of you that didn't see Talladega Nights, if you didn't see Talladega Nights, you gotta watch.
Shout out to Jay Smooth for the gift, and yes, anybody who got a PlayStation 3 in its inception got a copy of Talladega Nights. But anyways, Jay Smooth, appreciate the gift. Also, as well, want to thank so much my man Intel Wild. He said OKC will beat the Knicks already. He's already calling it as we see it. Legend
King Hudson, you can't give out 6-year contracts in the NBA. Come on, man, get your information.
Well, no, well, baseball is trying to get rid of that, but that's another
good luck.
Story.
Good luck on all that shit. There's going to be a lockout, and they're probably going to miss about 60 games, maybe 80 games next year. And my hope, I'm praying this happens because it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I actually want another 60-game season next year after the Dodgers 3-peat so that people can whine about another short season championship when the Dodgers 4-peat. How about that? I want it to burn. I want it to just like burn. I want it to hurt. Just watching that stuff. I want it to hurt. Just like how we got fucked in 17 and 18. I want you to feel that right there like this. I can't wait. Because what's going to be great about it is this is a 3-year run of championships that's coming up. And then they're going to have so much time off. Imagine there's another 60-game season. They come back and play in August. Woo! Man.
There you go.
They're going to be fresh.
Bronny gets extended $200 million for 4 years. There, yeah, can't wait for that to happen. Legend, go ahead and make sure you let everyone know what's going on with your great channel. I got Next Sports Media.
Baseball players have had enough. Do you have any idea how much money they make, Benny? Do you know anything about baseball? No, there's not going to be a salary cap. The players already have at least, this is the last time I checked, $450 million. It's the greatest union in the country is the MLBPA. That's not an overstatement. It's true. They are the strongest union in the country. They have 450. The last time I checked, there might be more now. $450 million to cover the players' salaries. Not all of it, but a lot of the salary, and they're going to chill. How many unions are sitting on a half a bill, Gerald?
Not too many.
And
Maybe
if they are,
maybe one here in Las Vegas, and I'll just leave it
exactly. And if they are, it's getting stolen. Not in baseball, though. Not in baseball. They do things right. If the owners want to lose money, they'll make sure this strike or lockout goes a long time. But do you see the owners really wanting to do that? The answer is hell no. Hell no. There will never be a salary cap in Major League Baseball. And if you want to know how history works, meaning like the truth of stuff that's gone on, every time you look at any of the time periods of salary cap in NBA, NFL, and in hockey, let's forget about hockey because no one watches hockey really except guys like me. But in the main three sports, 1985 was the first year the NBA had a salary cap, and then the NFL had their first salary cap in 94. In both cases, since that time, there have been more champions in baseball than there were in football. And since 1985 until now, there are more champions in baseball than in the NBA. What is your excuse for that, Mr. Salary Cap people? Where's the parity? There wasn't a repeat champ in Major League Baseball for 25 years. The longest one without a repeat in all of the major sports. 25 years. We're talking about quarter century. Baseball's a different beast. Baseball's a different game. You don't give owners shit in baseball because the second you give them one little turd, they will want the entire fucking cow shit. Do not give them shit. They don't deserve it. They're already making a lot of money. You don't believe me? 81 games where they're selling that trough slop and overpriced beer 81 times. You know how many times those games go on in the NFL, Gerald? 9, maybe. I don't even know if that's 9 anymore or 8 because they got to spend half the time in fucking Brazil or fucking Zimbabwe with this fucking commissioner wanting everything to be outside everywhere. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody. Oh, no, we care about player safety, but you're going to play on Sunday and then you're going to fly to fucking Uruguay on Thursday and play on Thursday. That's how much he cares about player safety. And I'm bringing that up because, and I'm not blaming this on football or Roger Fuckdell, but I'm absolutely floored today. It absolutely depressed me. And I'm not a guy that gets depressed, but I was depressed this morning when I found out about Chris Johnson having ALS. That was
40, by the way.
That was an absolute mind fuck. That was, and watching him communicate through a computer because he can't talk. I'm watching his kids. They're young. I'm just like, perspective again, guys. Another one of those things where if you don't pay attention, you let it go by, man. But watching Chris Johnson, I attribute the loss in Super Bowl 45 to the Steelers not drafting Chris Johnson instead of Rashard Mendenhall. We couldn't have known at that time, but they had a chance to draft Chris Johnson. And I can only imagine what a different team that team would have been had they done that instead of Rashard Mendenhall. And again, I'm not – when you look at Rashard Mendenhall, the man was built like a god. He was the perfect built running back, but his brain wasn't in it. His mind wasn't into football. So when I remember Chris Johnson and how amazing he was, man, to see that kind of ability and then now marginalized into this, it's makes what we're talking about here really, really minimal. And again, I wanted to end the show on that on my end. And again, I'm heartbroken for him and heartbroken that it's looking like his kids are going to not have a father here in about a year.
So with that said, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It is a snack pack. Truly appreciate you of joining us for everything that's going on. Again, a very busy day that we've covered in most details as far as it's concerned right here on this channel. Tomorrow morning on Lakers Latest, I'll have a quick show for you to try to set things up for you in free agency. And then tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, I'll probably be on here. It's what I'm shooting for. I got there's something I can't really get out of here early afternoon, but after that, I should have some freed up time to go ahead and talk about free agency. Legend, I'll shoot you a message in case I do. But if you got anything prepared this week coming up for your great channel on YouTube, I got Next Sports Media before we head on out.
I'm definitely gonna probably talk about a little bit of what done happened so far in free agency. I'll either do a live stream Wednesday or Thursday. On the side, that probably sometime in the afternoon or maybe even morning time, since I still got nothing but free time to start my job on the university level. So I'll probably look to do a stream either probably Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. But we just talk about what has happened so far and maybe talk about the controversy that's going on in the WNBA, what happened in the Fever and Mercury game.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. Classy or not classy? How do you define it? And I'm not going to touch that one. I'm not staying far away from that one because it's gone.
I'm thinking about doing the same thing. I might stay away from that one.
It's as usual, Legend. It's an incident on the court, and it's blown up into several different proportions based on a whole number of factors. And again, I'm not going to even come close to talking about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's messy.
Absolutely, indeed. It is messy indeed. But with that said, Legend, hopefully be able to get a chance to talk about it on I Got Next Sports Media. Joe Sorrell Experiment. Again, Joe, I will be doing a show sometime in the afternoon tomorrow. I don't know what time for sure. I'll have it scheduled in advance when I do. But Joe, you've got an experiment coming up. I know you're going to go into more detail on your channel as well, the Joe Sorrell Experiment for the Dodgers and what's going on there. With all that's said and done, your rushing comments earlier aside and what's going on, Dodgers are coasting right now. And they look so much better than they did this time last year. I can't have an argument or discussion with you on them because as a fellow Dodgers fan, they just look pretty damn good right now. Leaving San Diego, they had fun in San Diego. That's
we did.
You were there.
We did. And it was predictable that the game was going to go the Dodgers' way, and the game wasn't as close as the score said. I mean, they were.
Petco feels still as hot as
it was. It was hot, but there was a nice wind there. It was a nice little breeze, and it's a great stadium. And I don't hate the Padres. I like the rivalry. I want a rivalry. I want that Baltimore Ravens versus Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry that I was. Oh, thank God we had that for about 15 years because now I don't even know what the hell's a rivalry anymore. But man, I would love for the Padres to come up, but they're just not. They're pumpkins. They won in 2022, and then that was it. They retired after that. They couldn't even get to the World Series after they beat the Dodgers. And then when they got close in 2024, Yamamoto came in and whooped their ass. So did their bats, and then it was game over in game 5 in LA. And they've never really looked back since then. They've never really looked back. And as far as the Dodgers, baseball's a weird sport, so you can't really ever really get comfortable. The Dodgers have had several 100-win seasons in this amazing run that they've had. But the hilarious part about the 9 championships that they've won is they've never won when they won 100 games. The closest they got was in 63 when they won 99, which was, I don't know if it's an argument. I think the 1963 Dodger team was the best team that they've ever had. They not only won 99 games, but they also swept the Yankees that year. And it was the last time they won a championship at home, which is kind of the perspective of the Dodger fan right now. What we're so used to winning, we're trying to pick, well, can we win at home this time? I'm like, I don't give a shit where they win it. I just want them to win it. And looking at how things are playing out, the reason why this season is so crazy better than, let's say, even last year is that they've been just as injured this year, if not worse, and they're still winning. And you can't say, oh, Diaz, Diaz has been, he had stuff removed from his elbow. He'll be back after the All-Star. So he hasn't even hardly pitched in the first half. And then Kyle Tucker has not been playing as well as he should have. And they still are fine. Teo just got back. You've had injuries with Will Smith. He's not going to be back for a while. Like, this team is, in a lot of ways, the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. I'm saying that team because that's the most recent team. But really, this team looks like the 92 Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had Pro Bowl players coming off the bench on their defensive line. They were so stacked. It was ridiculous how much talent that team had. It didn't matter. You got fresh ones every time. So it's the same thing with the Dodgers. It don't matter. They're gonna bring, if you sit Will down, all of a sudden here comes Rushing, getting 3 hits today. You sit Will Smith down, you got Rushing. You don't got Rushing, you got somebody else. Hell, I don't know how many second basemen we've had, but they are on a mission, and this team looks like they've never won anything. Whatever they're doing there, I want you guys to get ready. It's going to happen to the Lakers one day. It's coming. That's the leadership of this ownership. It's coming.
Oh, one last shot to legend from Stefan Piscano on the Stefan Piscano podcast. Please like and subscribe to his channel. He gave us a super chat. Truly appreciate it. He said, great show, boys. May Rob Pelinka surprise us with a Luka-style home run tomorrow. And may LeBron enjoy his time in the Bay with me and John. Well, you've got to forget Bronny as well. And John Costa. There you go. Legend, would you like to retort on that? So,
good luck on that one. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck. Hope for the best. You know. Rob name. I always say, look at his name, Rob. You get robbed. That's what he do. You get robbed. It's in his name, so you can't help it. You can't help it.
I think it's going to take more than a super chat to get Rob Pelinka going on this one, but we'll see. He's going to be on the phone tomorrow, reportedly, with both restricted free agent centers, Walker Kessler and Jalen Duren. Where he goes from there, we'll find out, and we'll have reports on that for you tomorrow and throughout the next week or this week entirely as well. So yeah, keep in touch with us right here at Lakers Fast Break to get your news on what's going on with the Lakers and the NBA right here at the Lakers Fast Break. So for Legend, My God Next Sports Media, and Joe, the smirking one right there, from the Joe Soro experiment, what would be the elevator pitch for Kessler? More money. But I don't know. Even if they're having to overpay for Duren and or Kessler, they have to offer an overpay for either one of those guys. Let's just be frank. For what those guys have done in the league, they're going to get an overpay. So in the end, the winners are them. They're both those players will get paid when they finally sign on the dotted line with whatever team that they do. They will be getting more than their current value is worth in the NBA or what they have done in their previous season. Let's just be honest. So if that's the case, the elevator pitch is we just want to give you as much as we can that we think will allow you to come here, because other than Austin Reeves, we cannot sign and trade you to Utah for anything that they would truly want. So with that said, again, the fingers are crossed in LA. We'll see what happens, but the search for an A-list center continues. The search for a team continues as free agency starts up tomorrow, and we'll have it for you right here as always at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
No music in this. no music.
It's a snack pack. You've heard it for years now. All they do is
I don't give a
crunch,
shit.
crunch.
I want music.
Blah, 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 blah. There's your music.
Miles Turner. Come on.